Jalen, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. The turnovers tonight, uncharacteristic for you guys to lose that turnover battle. What sort of contributed to that? Shea had a bunch. You had more than normal. It just felt like everybody was just not taking care of the ball very well.
It just got sticky. I feel like when our defense wasn't very good. And when you're constantly taking the ball out and you're playing against a set defense over and over again, that's part of it. Other part, we didn't do a good job trusting each other to make the next play, like we did Game 5. So we'll look at some things. Obviously, they made a couple adjustments, so we'll look at that too. But a lot of it was, just not trusting each other to make the right plays. And that starts with me being better, figuring out different ways to get my teammates involved and stuff like that. So the good news is we have another game to figure it out.
First row, Joel.
Joel Lorenz with the Oklahoma. A little bit of a two-parter. You guys have talked a lot about the human elements of these games. I wonder, at any point did sort of the human element of knowing you had a Game 7 creep in, and what did you sort of learn today about how different it might feel to close a finals versus closing any other series?
No, the human element, well, I can't speak for my whole team, but the human element didn't creep in for me until we got blown out. So I didn't start thinking about Game 7 until we walked off the floor, or really when the game was kind of out of reach. But I think we had the right mindset coming into it. I think there was different things that we didn't do in the game well that hurt us. But closing out in the finals is different from playoff game because it's the end of the season. You know what I mean? And you play for so long that it just has more weight to it. Obviously, you want to win a championship, and you don't want it to feel like it was all for nothing. So that's been the biggest difference between closing out now as opposed to a Denver series or Minnesota. And I feel like they probably felt that way too. For them being down 3-2. Knowing that your season's on the line and you're in the finals just has more weight to it.
Second row on the right, Malika.
J-Dub, you and I spoke a couple of days ago about the feeling of having expectations and then not meeting them that you all had, for example, last season. And now it's coming down to one game, winner take all. It's why you play, but does that thought of not having that same feeling again now start to creep in, knowing it's 0-0 again, essentially, in this series?
Yeah, that feeling has never really left for me. Again, I don't want to speak for the whole team. That's the human part of, playing a sport, is everybody's going to feel some type of way. But I've definitely had that feeling. The whole year, I've had that feeling in December. You work really hard in the summer to get better at things, and when they don't come to light the way you want to, it's kind of easy to get off track and feel sorry for yourself. But at the same time, I try and be where my feet are. I'm in the NBA Finals at 24 years old in year 3. So I always try and keep that into perspective, and I'm just going to go into this next game and try and play hard and play better than what I did tonight. And wherever the chips fall, they fall. But I'm not going to go after this game and think I didn't play hard or, whatever the case may be. Just relishing the opportunity.
Last question, Barry.
Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. It's no crime to lose a Game 6 on the road, Jalen. But to lose like this, is there a concern that you emboldened the Pacers and gave them even more confidence for a tough road Game 7 on the road?
That probably has something to do with it a little bit. If they would have won by 1, they probably would have walked out of this game with confidence. You know what I mean? And that's what makes them a good team. That's what makes us a good team, is we both play to our identity regardless of what's going on. So, I mean, they're going to go into Game 7 and confident, and so are we.
Thank you, Jalen.
That's it.
All right, first question, we'll start with Jenny, front row.
Hey, Chet, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Felt like even early on, you guys, turnovers, just kind of out of sorts. What got you guys off track and had sort of an uncharacteristic performance tonight?
I don't think it was one factor, but no matter what it is, we have to be better at kind of course correcting, getting ourselves back on the right track. You know, I personally, myself, could be better. You know, trying to help us get things going in the right way. So we're going to watch the film and see where we can be better. And at the end of the day, you know, we still have a great opportunity, Game 7. You know, we have to come out and execute.
First row middle, Barry.
Yeah, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Chet, what's the explanation for a game like that where literally nothing went right or worked for you?
Again, I don't think it's a one-sentence answer or one-word answer. But at the end of the day, no matter there really is no explanation. There's no excuse. You know, we have to be better. We have to execute better. You know, from top to bottom, myself included. And I'm gonna see where I can be better, and you know, do my best to execute in Game 7 coming up.
First row here, Joe.
Joe Masato, the Oklahoman. Chet, how do you guys as a team balance the disappointment of not closing it out tonight versus knowing that you do have that Game 7 to fall back on?
Sorry, y'all. Just trying to cut the emotion out of it. Obviously, that's frustrating. It's not fun. Nobody's happy right now. But you can't let the emotions kind of sidetrack you from what we need to do leading up to and during the game coming up. You know, we've had wins and losses throughout the playoffs, so it's kind of similar mentality. You know, turn the page, don't forget what just happened, but see where you can be better, and then try and apply it going forward.
Second row middle.
Justin Martinez of the Oklahoman. Chet, for a series that's had such drastic swings and momentum, just how valuable is it to have this Game 7 at home in front of the crowd?
Obviously, it's a great opportunity. You know, you could ask every team in the NBA, every team would take this opportunity, take this chance, and, you know, we're no different, and it's on us to go out there and make the most of it.
First row, Joel.
Joel Lorenzi, the Oklahoman. Chet, obviously you guys through this playoff run have had so many different, unique, and new experiences. What did you sort of learn about the difficulties of closing out a finals?
I'd say it's very similar to a closeout game in any series. You know, no team's just going to roll over and go home. You know, it's going to be really physical. There's not going to be any favors from the officiating. There's, you know, it's really, you have to make it happen. It's not going to happen by accident. So, you know, we have to learn the lesson from tonight and come back and be better.
Thank you, Chet.